Oh man, this is an emergency video because the markets are balancing on a knife edge right now. This next candle here could set up our next few weeks on crypto. We could be pulling back to some very important levels, or we could continue a move ahead. What am I seeing in the charts? I'm going to break that down and a lot more. Smash up the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. As always, be in our Telegram community. It's free. ijazcrypto.com/TG. You would have seen this chart pattern ahead of time and you would not be getting caught out. Make sure you're in there. Make sure you trade with the community as well. Links in the description to the exchanges that I use to actively trade this market. This market is beautiful for trading. This volatility, these ups, these downs really allow us to take some beautiful trades, and I share how I do so in the Telegram community, so make sure you're in there. As you can see, guys, if you've taken any sort of TA lessons, you will know this is a double top reversal pattern. Yes, typically these patterns break to the downside. You can see the price target here to the downside would give you a pullback here on Bitcoin to 49,000. Now that would give you a pullback from the highs of 53 of close down here all the way down to 49 of 7.4%. That would be a decent correction there on Bitcoin. The question is now the time that's going to happen? As you can see here on the 4-hourly candles, Bitcoin on the previous candle here, which I was monitoring before making this video, tried to break down below, right? You could see it nearly had the candle close below the neckline, but it didn't quite get it. And the next candle, as you'd predict, has started to open up green. This is very normal. This is a response from the bulls to say, hey, we don't want to break down, we want to bounce. But look, this bounce is pointless if you cannot finish the candle closing the green. You got to finish this candle closing the green. You got to open another one up green, and you got to start working yourself out of this mess. And where did this mess reside from? This didn't catch us off by surprise, not at all. Let's bring out the EMA ribbon. We've been monitoring the 4-hourly chart for a while. What happened here? Big extended move to the upside, consolidation into the EMA ribbon. When this very candlestick bounced on this channel, if you guys go back and watch the videos, when it bounced on this candle, what did I say? I said this EMA bounce is all well and good. We need a higher high. We need a higher high, otherwise we risk, what did I say? Curling over. Now what are we getting now? We're curling over, right? We failed to get the higher high above this little wick here. We didn't get it, and therefore we've curled over. We tried to have a powerful move on this candle here, again, which all the way up to 53,000, right? Touched a higher high, but didn't get a candle body close higher high. And so you can see this pattern is showing weakness to the downside. Now, again, the same thing remains. If we do not manage to bounce and create a higher high, we still risk falling over, right? You can just have a triple top. It can try 3 times, once, twice, and then it can kind of fail here and then still come down. So just because we bounce from here doesn't mean we're out of the woods. 1, we need to bounce. 2, we need a higher high. Higher high, we can keep this uptrend. If we don't and we see a candlestick body close below here, then we got to get ready for 49. We got to get ready for some other lower price targets. Now, of course, you've got a little bit of support that comes in around that 50,000 psychological level. Maybe Bitcoin will bounce from there. But one thing is for sure, if we lose this level here, not only are we losing this M pattern, which I've shown you, we've also lost the 4-hourly EMA ribbon. You can see how that ties in exactly at the same level. We lose the 4-hourly EMA ribbon as well. And so when we then want to say, okay, where are we going to fall to? Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out and start to see where does this bring us to? And it's no coincidence that the target of this M pattern, which is 49,000, I just shared that with you, the measured move. Again, if you're unfamiliar with how to do these things, I go through all of this in detail within a structured curriculum. Ijazcrypto.com/TA. You know all these patterns, right? It's just us executing it now in the market and actually making profits from it. So what we want to see is where does it pull back to? 49,000 here is exactly where the daily EMA ribbon comes to. So it's no surprise and actually healthy longer term if we do kind of pull back to 49, right? I know it's not fun for everybody, but if we pull back to 49, which is where my cursor is right now, we touch the daily EMA ribbon, maybe even want to come a bit lower, 48.5, 48 even, and come and touch these levels of support from these wicks here. Come and touch that, build some support, allow the RSI to reset as well, right? This is currently still in overbought territory. It's been in overbought territory since the 9th of Feb. So you kind of want this to cool off. It's just starting to cool off now. You can see there, just see that coming back down below this red line. Let it come into the middle. Let it come into neutral territory. Let it cool off a little bit, and then we can get a nice big move to the upside. So very important. Do not get caught off guard either way. Yes, we can bounce from here. Yes, we can see the bulls step in and bounce, but it needs that higher high. Don't get excited unless this goes past 53, right? It doesn't mean we're continuing. We can kind of have a little bit of a relief bounce here up towards 52 again, hover around here for a bit, and then eventually come down and visit that 49. So we need to be very, very careful. And that is why I'm being patient right now. I'm waiting to see over the next couple of of hours, what is the response here? And when I know the response, I'll be taking some more altcoin trades and I'll be sharing those in the Telegram group as well. So make sure you're in there. So all said there, Bitcoin looking pretty decently, right? Looking decently here. Doesn't matter if it wants to pull back to 49. I'm not too bothered over the next weeks and months. We know the ETF narrative has continued to be hot. If you've not watched my video yesterday, make sure you go watch that. I did a really important video on Ethereum. I said it could pull back into the EMA ribbon, bounce off 2800, and then get another move to the upside. And we're starting to see that, right? Already from yesterday when I was making that video, you're seeing how it's cooled down and getting much closer to that 2800 mark, which I was calling for. And again, when I was making the video, it's sat at 3,000 and everybody's FOMOing to get in. You got to be patient. Don't chase those green candles. It will always come back to you at support. Be patient, be poised, control your emotions. That's what trading as investing is about. So when I see this red in the market, it's good. I don't mind this red. When you've had so many crazy green days and weeks, why should this concern me? It doesn't concern me. This is healthy. Get a bit of a pullback, flush out some of the leverage in the system. That is exactly what we need. Now, the other thing I do want to show you is take a look at the weekly chart, right? Look at this weekly chart. Does this weekly chart tell you that we're in a problem? No, it doesn't. It's overextended. So it's perfectly healthy to come and get a pullback. And this is where it will start to scare people, right? Like here, after we went on our crazy pump, we consolidated sideways, not even downwards, consolidated sideways for a couple of weeks. Then went on another run. And now we're getting a little bit of a red candle to start off this week. Even if it wants to have a couple of weeks here to the downside, all the way down to 41, I'm not panicked. 41K. Can you imagine how much the market will be panicking if Bitcoin fell to 41K over the next couple of weeks? They'll be like, oh, I told you, the bull run's over. It's done. It's over. I wouldn't care whatsoever. I would be taking those opportunities and buying as much as I can. Buying that dip, okay? So, guys, nothing to panic about. I will be in Dubai over the next few weeks. If you guys want to do a meetup, if you want to do a catch-up, make sure you comment below. Make sure in our Telegram community, if there's enough of you guys that want to do a meetup, let's arrange that over in Dubai. We can kind of go through some chart patterns and a few other bits as well. But right now, also, keep your close eye on this dollar index, right? I know Bitcoin is not moving based on the dollar index, but it doesn't mean we just ignore the dollar index. We keep a close eye on it. We understand how it's moving and we want to understand what it's doing. So far, to be honest, it's been sideways. If you take a look at it from here, which is the end of 2022, it's just been in a sideward territory. But even these kinds of periods can cause us problems for Bitcoin. So ideally, we want to keep it trending to the downside. We want it to lose its weekly EMA ribbon. We certainly don't want it to be gathering any support from here and moving to the upside. And that's going to come from positive CPI data and FOMC remarks, right? So you got the FOMC minutes, which are coming out later today. I'll update that in the Telegram as and when it comes out. But don't get yourself caught up in a mess about that. The FOMC minutes are the minutes from the previous meeting. It's not a new meeting. Some people get confused and think it's a new meeting. It's not. It's just what did the Fed officials say at the previous meeting. So if there's any big spanners in there, yes, the market can panic momentarily, but I'm not expecting a big shake on that, particularly for Bitcoin and the crypto markets, because at the moment, Bitcoin is moving off its own narrative. And that's hugely refreshing to see. It's hugely refreshing to see that Bitcoin is deciding to move on its own terms based on the inflows into the ETF, based on the inflows into the market and the demand for Bitcoin as the supply looks set to reduce at the Bitcoin halving. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you appreciate this type of content, then please make sure you hit up likes. Do not forget to subscribe. Check out the Telegram link in the description. It'll be the very first one. And I'll see you in the next one.